DRERYRIT. 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 What the fuck? In this video, I'll be checking out a new 2-in-1 wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto adapter from DRERYRIT. This adapter features a single one-click switching button that simply enables you to switch between Android Auto and CarPlay with ease. In the box, you get a pair of user manuals to let you know how to operate the adapter, how to connect it, and how to update it. You get the 2-in-1 wireless adapter itself, 2 power connecting cables, 1 USB-C to C for more modern CarPlay ports, and 1 USB-A to USB-C. And finally, there's an adhesive pad to stick to the underside of this adapter to prevent it from sliding around inside your car interior. Looking over the adapter then, it's a small pint-sized with a sort of geometric ridged pattern around the outside. You have the easy switching button on one end to switch between different devices, and you've got a USB-C input port to power the device. Up on top you have a simple branding which is comprised of these 2 circles which will illuminate once the whole thing is powered and operational. To control the adapter, you just simply plug it into your CarPlay port or your Android Auto port to simply convert that platform into a wireless one. It will not convert wireless CarPlay into an Android Auto platform and vice versa. It will just do CarPlay to wireless CarPlay and Android Auto to wireless Android Auto. So if your car supports both, then happy days, this adapter will work either way. We've seen adapters on this channel already with a one-quick solution to disconnect your phone. Usually they work quite well, but we'll get this tested in the car and see how that actually works in practice. Okay, so let's jump into Golf and see how well this performs. Right, so before I get in the car, I've actually got it plugged into my Golf and I've tested it a little bit. You might have seen the preview on my socials. But rather than doing all the Bluetooth connection, pairing, timing and things like that, I'm just going to show you for the first time how quickly these adapters can connect if you've got auto start on unlocking of your car. So that's if your system supports unlocking your car and then it boots up your system and your USB power, which will get these adapters up and running before you almost turn the key. So I've got the DRERYRIT wireless adapter already plugged into my USB port in the car. I'm going to show you the whole process of getting in the car, sitting down, turning the key, and you'll know how quickly it has connected to my phone wirelessly. So let's go. And there you go, into wireless CarPlay without connecting my phone, and it's taken probably just under 10 seconds from unlocking the car to boot up into wireless CarPlay. Right, so I showed you the connection from unlocking the car into getting into wireless CarPlay after ignition on the car. That's roughly around 10 seconds, which is really, really good. And the beginnings of how we're going to start seeing these adapters. They have made them a lot faster these days. But so we have the DRERYRIT all plugged in, connected and powered up, and we're into Apple CarPlay. I'd say it's not the smoothest I've experienced. That still is crowned with a more recent adapter that I've reviewed. You can check that on my channel or up here, but it is good. It connects quickly and the audio sounds great as well, actually. So let's just play that. With wheel controls, forward and backwards. I'll say the input lag into the navigation nearly about 3 seconds, so it's definitely not the quickest that we've experienced in the past, but it does it and it sounds really, really good too. If audio is a thing that you'd like to have decent in your wireless adapters. As for navigation and interaction, it is pretty good. It's quite rapid and it responds to the touch controls fairly well. You can see there I'm doing a few mishits there. So as a general adapter, it really does the job. It ticks most of the boxes. So it's probably not the fastest. I'll check the Wi-Fi specs and I'll put it up on the screen now what the differences are. It does support GPS pass-through. If I go to the menu once connected to wireless CarPlay, you can see there the update. I have updated it to the latest. And you've got a GPS mode. So let's do an audio test Hey Siri, send an audio message to test.
Hi, this is Anthony from CarPlayLife.com, and this is an audio test using the DRERYRIT wireless CarPlay adapter, and this is an audio test.
Okay, so that sounds good to me. Hasn't increased the golf microphone gain at all, so that's a solid pass for the audio test in messages. Let's test the call. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, solid pass there for the call test on CarPlay. Very minimal delay in the call reception there, so solid pass on that as well. So the main USP for this adapter over some others is that it has this little button here to disconnect the connected device. Now you can only connect and store 2 devices on this adapter to auto connect or auto switch between. So I haven't paired anything just yet. I've got my Android Auto to test on this adapter, so let's do that next. So what I'm going to do, or at least try first, is does the Bluetooth adapter show up in Bluetooth devices when I try and pair a new device? Right, so even though I've got CarPlay running currently, we do have the device connected here. So I'm going to try and pair with that now. So it is connected, but it's not fully connected because the CarPlay is being run. So what I'll do, I'm going to press this button now to disconnect. It's still trying to connect, so I'm going to do that now. And that now gives us some time to connect to Android Auto. And will it do it before the CarPlay reinitializes? No. So it's not really doing as advertised there. So let's try again. So I'm going to press this once, go into Android Auto, still not connecting. Okay, and now we're into Android Auto. So took a little bit of attempt, but we'll try switching back after we've had a look at Android Auto. So we're now into Android Auto. Everything looks fairly sharp, and so far it seems pretty responsive. I'd say on par with the CarPlay. Again, it's not the best. Like, we could just be a few milliseconds out, but it is fairly responsive there. The resolution looks pretty good and native. It's not squashing any of the pixels here from what I can tell. Just try out some audio. So a lot faster, and that's quite standard on Android Auto. I'd say about between 1.5 to 2 second delay on the navigation. Wheel controls work just fine as well. And the call button does trigger Google.
Hello, Anthony.
So that's good, works well with the voice control buttons on the steering wheel as well. Let's do a call test. Hello, 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 hello. That worked out really, really good. Very impressed there. It's got very little lag delay, so that's going to be great for calling. And the microphone quality sounded good too. So solid pass there for Android Auto. There is very little to play around with. It works well. It's fairly, I'd say, more than happy with its responsiveness on its touches and everything else like that. It does support pinch and zoom on Android Auto, so that's good to see as well. So that's Android Auto. Let's test out this auto switching again and switch back to CarPlay. So I'm just going to basically press it once and see what it actually connects to. So let's just turn this off, which disconnects us. Let's see what connects first. I've not blocked any of the devices from re-enabling Bluetooth. It's literally a pure case of who interrupts who first. So it looks like CarPlay has won the battle test there. So it reconnects to the CarPlay interface of the system, but which device connects to the adapter first? CarPlay. So let's just press it one more time and see if it switches back to Android Auto, or will it launch CarPlay. So it looks like the adapter is now rebooted and it's now switched back to the Google Pixel. So that's really cool. And we're now into Android Auto. So that's a really good test that it's going to switch between the two without the other interfering. And to prove that and test that, if we do it one more time, it should go back into CarPlay. So let's try. And we're back into CarPlay. So that's solid pass there on the general interaction of the switch here on the front. So it does toggle between the two devices. So you might be thinking, what happens now if you were to toggle between iPhone and iPhone? So let's just test that one more time. So we've got 2 iPhones here, and we're going to test out if we can flip between both of them. We currently got this one connected. You've got Spotify icon on the top left here. The background is different as well. I'm going to tap this and hopefully reconnect to our other CarPlay device. And we're in our other device. Happy days. Now let's do one further test we'll tap this and see if we can switch to the other CarPlay device. No. Let's try one more time. Okay, it doesn't seem to want to connect to any of the iPhones. So if I interrupt, it does. So let's now push that and see if it connects to the same device or not at all. And we're into the other device. So that seems to work as intended. Let's see if we can switch back. And we're back into the other device. So a little bit hit and miss there personally, but it does seem to work to some extent with a little bit of pushing from the actual device itself. So with us connected to wireless CarPlay, we can now test out to see when I restart the car, will it go into the same device or will it start to switch between the two? So we're going to hold down the power button to completely reset the car system. That's the car system now resetted, and the system and now the dongle is going to start firing up now. So it looks like the Google Pixel is now going to connect before wireless CarPlay can get in there. So music has resumed and everything, so that's really good to see too. And we are in there, but it didn't fire up CarPlay. So I don't know if it's got a thing of being able to remember what it last used and fire up that, or it's going to be a simple case of tossing a coin and seeing which one actually lands once you actually start the car up. You can try that one more time to see which it actually goes in. And if it goes back into Android Auto, we know that since the last device that is paired to it is the device that it will always connect to first. So that kind of proves that theory. So we'll now reconnect this device to switch to CarPlay, and then we can restart the system and see if it does continuously restart into CarPlay. So that's good. So that's worked as intended. We've switched it. It switched to the other device. Perfect. Now we're just going to start some music and come back to the main menu and now reboot the system again. This is good tele viewing, isn't it? So that's the system rebooted. Fingers crossed it actually goes back into wireless CarPlay. And then we have it back into wireless CarPlay. So that is a solid pass there on the auto switching side. It maintains the connected or the last connected device when you get in there, and you can easily switch between the other device with that single button. So top marks there for DRERYRIT and that functionality. It does help generally for multi-users in a way. So this is probably the most solid multi-user switching wireless CarPlay and Android Auto adapter that I've tested so far. It does everything native looking. I'd say the speed isn't as fluid as another adapter that I tried earlier, but if multi-user and user switching is a paramount thing and you're looking for something that actually also sounds good too with minimal lag and delay, then this is actually quite a good adapter to consider. So the DRERYRIT wireless CarPlay and Android Auto adapter currently retails for $69.99 on Amazon.com, and you can also get a $21 coupon off, which will then bring it down to $48.99. So that is a good saving there. It's obviously not the cheapest adapter, but considering the features that it does actually do and come with, I think that's quite a fair price. But as you've seen with all my tests that we've done so far, specifically I wanted to focus on the user switching because that's quite a more unique feature of this adapter over any others. And I want to test these scenarios of multi-user support should you be sharing the car with more than one person with a different device, and we've seen that it does handle that very solidly and quite reliably too. So for its price, it looks the part. Its performance is pretty high up there. It sounds good. The call delay is minimal. The config screen is quite limited or limiting compared to some other brands that are out there, but if it works there solidly straight out the bat, then you shouldn't really be diving in there as often anyway, or if at all. So if you do share your car with multiple phones and you like to switch between either CarPlay or Android Auto or two iPhone devices, then this is definitely a 2-in-1 wireless adapter that you might want to consider for your car. Alright, thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful. Give us a thumbs up if it has, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this DRERYRIT wireless CarPlay and Android Auto adapter. I'll do my best to answer them. You can support the channel by sending us a super thanks. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.